Hello, welcome back. It is the last video in this series here. We're doing a little bit of a reflection and a reset. I've been sick for the last week and a bit, so filming this is definitely coming a little bit late, but we're here now. I'm feeling a little bit better, a little less stuffy. This is it. We are here. It is the last video in the series. I think I said this last year. I'm going to say it again. I do this sort of reset every December. I do it a couple times a year, but I generally do a really big reset every December. This year has felt a little bit more chaotic than most, especially this last couple months here. I have been really busy. I keep getting colds or COVID or just sickness of some sort, and so it's been really tough the last little bit. So what I like to do when I'm doing a reflection or an annual review or whatever you really want to call it for it, I really like to make sure I'm in a cozy space. I'm in clothes that make me feel comfortable. I have a warm beverage or a beverage of choice, and either music playing in the background, a candlelit, like something to just kind of romanticize and reflect on the past year and just get you in the mood to journal and reflect. So whatever that looks like for you, I highly recommend setting up your space so it is familiar and cozy and comfortable for you to do your reflection. For myself, I have a key source of questions that I ask myself from time to time to really check in and see where I'm at in life. This year, I bought a physical journal from Intelligent Change. This one is called the Best Year Journal, and it has questions and prompts, some questions that I've never really thought about before, and I want to take time and really sit with those questions before I just write something down for the sake of writing it down. But what you could also do is if you have questions that you like to ask yourself every year, I pulled my ones from the previous year. I filled them in and like old, you can see for my previous day planner. I cut those out so I could keep them and reflect again, just to see how much I've grown in the last few years. So I kept that at the back of this. And I used those same questions, and I just found an empty page so I can reflect on last year and this year together and just see how much has changed. Yesterday I was filling out this best year journal, and they had some prompts in here and some storytelling that just kind of help you with your reflection. I found it really helpful, and it just made me get excited for doing a reset. So the end of year review. We often have many aims and expectations for the year ahead. Checking in with ourselves at the end of the previous year and asking whether we did our best to accomplish our goals allows us to evaluate the past with understanding and compassion. Carrying out an end-of-year review will provide personal feedback and a sincere analysis of the previous 12 months so we can be more confident about what actions we need to take to ensure that the next year is our best. That makes me really excited. I started reading through this. It had a couple good questions, but for me, I know that reviewing my finances, reviewing the things I own and how much I have to reflect on my life feels heavy and a little bit of uncomfortable. And sometimes you just don't want to think about it. And so I have some fun questions that I like to ask myself before I jump into a journaling session that is a little bit bigger than the norm. I will also attach a link below in the description here of all the questions I ask myself. I created a Notion template just with all the questions on it, and feel free to duplicate it, make a page, copy it onto a Word doc, whatever you want, but it's just a place to kind of hold all these questions, answer what you feel like if you want to participate in a little bit of an annual review. So these are my first few questions that I asked myself to start out. What was your best purchase this year and why? And how has it added value to your life? What was the worst purchase you made this year and why? What small things do you enjoy doing the most during your day-to-day? What were 3 experiences you have had this year that were memorable and enjoyable? I'll answer these with you guys. For myself, my best purchase this year was my morning machine. It's like a little espresso pod machine. You can use Nespresso pods as well, but it is made for specialty coffee. And you're able to like customize the temperature, the recipes, all of that good stuff. I've had a really hard time finding really good specialty coffee in my city. I've found that the consistency is just all over the place, and it's really hard to just go and spend $7 or $8 on a cappuccino and not have it taste great. So I've invested in making coffee at home, and it has been amazing every single time. That is definitely my best purchase, hands down, this year. My worst purchase that I made this year and why? I don't really know that I have like a worst purchase. Actually, no, I have a good one. I purchased spin classes all throughout the summer. I typically do something that's an indoor activity in the summertime because it's really smoky here. Our fire season is very extensive and the smoke outside sucks. But this year I purchased a spin classes and I enjoyed it, but it was so expensive. And I know I could have done something myself at the gym at home, and that is something that moving forward, I'm just not interested in buying classes to places unless it's like an activity I could do with Dylan. I think that might have been my worst purchase. It was a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. I had a blast in the classes. I got to ask my friends to come join me and hang out with me at spin class, and that was like our hangout time. Got to do something active, but just the sheer amount of money I spent, I think that might be my worst purchase this year. Yeah. What small things do I enjoy doing the most during my day-to-day? I will definitely say when I wake up first thing in the morning and I can kind of see the sun starting to rise, I typically stand outside on my balcony and I take in all the fresh air. I get sunlight for the first few minutes of my day. I really enjoy my first cup of coffee. I love my mornings. What were 3 experiences I've had this year that were memorable and enjoyable? Doing the South Boundary Trail, and this year I got to take Dylan. I went to Mexico by myself in March, and I met 2 amazing ladies who were also traveling by themselves, and they were awesome. That was a really fun trip. And my last one would be probably moving in with Dylan in April. It was like incredibly hectic. I just came back from Mexico. I just started a new job. We're like figuring out our lives together. It's been like hectic, but it's also been really rewarding and exciting. I think that would make it one of my more memorable and enjoyable experiences and moments that I've had throughout the year. Okay, so now that we've answered a few questions to kind of warm us up into the process, I will read through some of my favorite questions to ask myself. I feel like these questions are a great starting point, so let's get into it. What created energy this year? And that could be in different buckets of what activities, people, or projects brought you energy. Alternatively, what drained your energy this year? So what people, projects, or activities drained you? What did you not do because of fear? What was your professional or career highlight of the year? What do you want to do more or less of right now? What are you interested in, curious about, or want to explore next? What did you learn this year? What are you grateful for? Last but not least, we always need to ask ourselves where we're feeling about money. These are some questions that I also pulled from a Kate Flanders. It was like a conference video that I joined a couple years ago, and she had asked us what our relationship with money was and gave us a bunch of questions. Now, this is something I look at quite often, and I think, okay, it's not that bad. These are the 4 questions I would ask myself if I was just getting into doing this review. What has money helped you with so far this year? What have you been feeling anxious and stressed about this year when it comes to money? What are 2 or 3 big things that you would love to do with money by the end of the year? What is one money-related goal you have this year? So I think this is a really good starting point to ask yourself how you're feeling about the topic. Take it slow. You don't have to answer everything in one go. Make sure you're in a comfortable place. Make sure you're maybe drinking something that you enjoy. Just be gentle on yourself because reflections can be hard for some people. Whatever your relationship is with money, know that it's not that bad and it can only get better. It just takes a lot of effort. I have resources coming out in the new year that will help us with money in the future. future, but for now, just have an idea of where you're at. Those are my key questions that I start with pretty much every single year. I do have an area where I like to pick core areas of my life and ask myself what I did well in those areas, what can I improve, and what goals can I set in each of those. So for me, my areas are financial or money, social, health and wellness, skills and learning, my career, and my relationship. You can share your review with friends or family or people close in your life. Dylan and I are also doing somewhat of a life review for us as well, and it's just kind of nice to know where each of us are in areas of our life so we know how to support the other person. I find that super helpful for our relationship, and it could be helpful for yours too. Anyways, this is all I have for us today. I am still feeling like garbage. Drink your water, have vitamins or something. I'm not really sure where I'm going with this, but I appreciate you guys being here with me for the last year. I will see you in the new year, and yeah, I hope if you're feeling sick that you get better soon, and if you're not, just have a great time. Okay, that's all. I'll see you in the new year.